channel. Do not be afraid to click the like button. Do not be afraid to comment. Do not be afraid to subscribe to my channel. Only the brave and only the intelligent and the ones that are bold, that don't want to be lied to anymore by clickbait, subscribe to my channel and tune into my channel and like and comment in my channel. Because my channel is unadulterated truth. Keep you free from negativity and keep you free from all the nonsense and all the biased information. We need people to speak truth and to be bold and not be afraid to walk through that fire to accomplish what they need to accomplish. That's what it's all about. Surpassing, like my shirt says. Tony also, always learning, surpassing obstacles. That's what my name also stands for. Check out my music on all major platforms, by the way. My new single, Don't You Know, is doing great. 1,000 streams in just 4 days. That's unheard of for an independent artist, and for even artists that are, it takes them a year to actually get that. And my other single, I Won't Stop, actually reached 1,000 streams in 3 days. So yes, it's doing good. And shout out to DJ Spinning, Tim Spinning Shoma from Chicago. Much love to my people from Chicago. I'm from New York, but I shout out Chicago, give him much love and respect. He played my song on his show. So shout out to Tim Spinning Shoma, to all my Chicago people out there. Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. I want to shout out all my people from Brooklyn, Marlboro Projects, everywhere in New York, beyond Strong Island, everywhere. I'm doing a collaboration with Keith Murray as well. I'm all over the place, I know. But you know what? I have to celebrate with you guys because you guys are my fans and my family. Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. So we have a lot of great boxing news right now. Let me see who tuned in. Como Lomo, my regular. Thanks for coming back to my channel. I appreciate it. That's one of my regulars right there. Much love to you. Como Lomo says, hey, yeah, bro. What's going on, my brother? Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate your comment. I appreciate you tuning in. You are the family. You are my family. Everybody that tunes in, and I got more family members that are going to come to my channel. Subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Subscribe. Do not be a sucker. Do not be a sucker. If you're a real cat, I'm gonna say the real N-I-G-G-A. Yeah, if you're a real N-I-G-G-A, you subscribe to my channel and you click and you find out the truth and you embrace that and it liberates you. And then you feel a certain way after you subscribe to my channel. You feel like, wow, this is something that I needed to find out about. You feel a certain way after you subscribe to my channel and you participate in the channel because you're part of the experience. And I make sure that everybody's part of the experience. What you think of Zayas versus Boots? I'm going to get to that, my brother. Thanks for the comment. Como Lomo says, what you think of Zayas versus Boots? All right. I wasn't going to jump into that real quick, but you know what? I'm going to give it to you. First, I want to talk about some other things, but I'm going to give it to you, Como Lomo. Thanks for asking the question. Thanks for having the interest. But yeah, we're going to talk first about Stephanie Pinheiro. You guys know about Stephanie Pinheiro? All right, she's from Puerto Rico. She's a welterweight. She's in the welterweight division. She's ranked #1, and she's gonna fight Lauren Price from London, England, who is a really great champion. I don't know too much about female boxing, but I've been watching a little bit and here and there, studying a little bit. And Lauren Price is a WBC, WBA, and IBF champion. The only championship belt that she doesn't have, Lauren Price, is the WBO. And she actually called her out in the press conference when she has a fight against Stephanie Pinheiro. What's wrong with that girl? She's overlooking Stephanie Pinheiro. Stephanie Pinheiro ain't nothing to play with. I interviewed Stephanie Pinheiro, as a matter of fact, on my channel. If you watch the videos on my channel section, watch the video section of my channel and go to the Stephanie Pinheiro interview that I interviewed Stephanie Pinheiro a couple of months ago. It's a great interview in Spanish, because she's from Puerto Rico and she speaks more Spanish than English, but she speaks a little English in that press conference. She was talking pretty good. They had to translate a couple of things to her, but she was basically saying that she's ready for this fight, and they're asking the questions like, how you gonna go and fight Lauren Price? How you gonna neutralize her speed? And she was basically saying, I can't give you that strategy because then I'm giving you away my fight strategy, and that's counterproductive. Pretty much what she's saying in a nutshell. She didn't say all those words exactly, but I kind of paraphrased. But she definitely is confident, and so is Lauren Price. But Lauren Price, when they mentioned this is an opportunity for you fight Stephanie Pinheiro, it will give you an opportunity to fight for undisputed, to be undisputed, so she can have 4 championships instead of 3. Right now, she's a WBC, WBA, and IBF. All she needs is WBO, and she called out Michaela Mayer. Yeah, she called her out and said she's scared to fight me. That's why I can't get undisputed. So she's saying that she's gonna avoid her. She's not gonna fight with Michaela Mayer after she supposedly beats Stephanie Pinheiro, because she don't believe that Michaela Mayer will give her a fight because she says that she's ducking her. That's what she was saying. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You're about to fight Stephanie Pinheiro for Puerto Rico. God damn it. You sleeping on Stephanie Pinheiro. What's up with that? Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Click the like button, subscribe, comment. Tell me what you think about Stephanie Pinheiro versus Lauren Price. That is going to be a big fight, huge fight for Puerto Rico and female boxing, which is getting better, and I'm supporting it, and I'm going to support Stephanie Pinheiro, of course. And Lauren Price, I know she's a great fighter because based on her resume, and I've seen some videos. I think they have a similar record. I think she has a similar record to Stephanie Pinheiro. But she has accomplished a lot more than Stephanie Pinheiro. But Stephanie Pinheiro is ranked number 1 in one of the organizations that she's, I don't know which organization, I think the WBC. And Lauren Price is a WBC, IBF, and WBA champion. And they're going to fight in April 4th in the UK on Saturday. I don't know what time, but they're going to fight in the UK April 4th. Stephanie Pinheiro versus Lauren Price, April 4th in the UK, Saturday. So I hope they don't rob Stephanie Pinheiro if she wins, because you know how it is when they fight in the hometown turf of the champions. They usually, there's a lot of shenanigans and sinister stuff behind the scenes. So let's hope that doesn't happen, and let's hope that Stephanie Pinheiro knocks her out the frame, out the ring. Because you know how it is when it comes to boxing. Sometimes you got to use your power, and the power's in your hands, not in the judge's hands. So yeah, so let's see what Stephanie Pinheiro does. She's fighting a very, very, very talented champion, three-time champion. All she needs is one more belt, WBO, that Michaela Mayer has, but she supposedly, called her out in the press conference, saying that she's not going to be able to fight Michaela because Michaela's scared of her, and basically saying that when she knows that could be counterproductive for her if she's overlooking Stephanie Pinheiro. She's saying that in the press conference. What's wrong with her? Somebody needs to smack her, or maybe Stephanie Pinheiro's gonna smack her. Get the job done, get something accomplished. But anyway, what do you guys think about that fight? And now, I am going. Yeah, there's no more comments yet. What do you think of Zayas versus Boots? Como Lomo, my regular, asked me, what do I think about Xander versus Boots? I'm gonna tell you right now. Xander Zayas, he basically said in the interview that he is gonna rip Jaron Boots and his heart. He basically said, I'm going to rip his heart out. And he said that it's different when you fight somebody with skills that has just as much skills as you or more, and it's not the same, it's different levels. And he basically said that he wants to make history, that it's easy to fight easy fights and old names just to make some money. When everybody is doubting you, that's when the stakes are high. That's when he fights his best. When the stakes are high, when people doubt him. Like right now, there's a lot of people doubting that Xander Zayas could beat Jaron Boots Ennis, but there's some people out there, a significant percentage, that believe that Xander Zayas has more than enough to beat Jaron Boots Ennis based on his skills. Listen, what I think right now, this fight has a lot of different variables. I think that Jaron Boots Ennis is the harder puncher, but it's not only about power. In boxing, it's about skills, timing, and delivery. And I believe the footwork of Xander Zayas can give Jaron Boots Ennis hell. Can give him a lot of trouble because he's a very, very tactical fighter, Xander Zayas, and he sticks to the game plan. That's the key. Like, he's the type of fighter that stays focused and he follows the instructions of his corner. And Xander Zayas has never veered off his strategy. Whenever he fights a fighter, he never overly engages if he doesn't have to, and he sticks with the game plan, uses his footwork, throws combinations, sets you up, times you, and looks for opportunities and openings and weaknesses in his adversary. And I believe that Jaron Boots Ennis does have his weaknesses, and Xander Zayas may have some weaknesses as well. But I feel like Jaron Boots Ennis, he's susceptible to get hit. sometimes he overly engages, and he does that from time to time when he doesn't really have to do that. Sometimes he wants to show how much power he has when he doesn't really need to do that. And I believe if he does that with Xander Zayas can upset Jerome Ennis. That's my opinion. But who do I think is going to win? Tell me who you think is going to win. Como Lomo, my brother. Tell me who you think is going to win the fight between Xander Zayas and Jerome Ennis. I think it's a 50-50 fight, and it's anybody's fight. It's the fighter who wants it the most and the one who sticks to the game plan. I believe that Jerome Ennis, based on past fights that I've seen, Stanionis and other fights that he's had, he has never fought a boxer, a pure boxer like Xander Zayas. Xander Zayas is a pure boxer. He's not the most powerful, but he can surprise you with his speed and his combinations. He can surprise you and he can hurt you. But I believe that in this weight that he's in, 154, I think he's struggling to make that weight, and he wants to make a big fight, a huge big fight, before he goes to 160, because 160 is the perfect weight for his body to develop into now, because he's maturing really fast and he's getting into his man maturity body. And no homo with that. I ain't observing him like that, but I'm just saying that, you know, Xander Zayas, he basically is maturing and his body is more defined now. The muscle is more defined, and I believe that 160 is the optimal weight right now for him to be fighting at. And I believe that the fight with Jerome Ennis is a lot of different variables why that fight was made. I believe is mainly because Xander Zayas is willing to fight all fighters regardless, take on all comers. He already beat Barral, who beat Tellers, the Cuban guy, the undefeated Cuban guy, who just recently fought with Brian Mendoza. Yeah, so I believe that the fight, you know, with Barral proved that Xander Zayas, he's willing to fight anybody, because Barral has some skills. Barral does have some skills. He's very tough, very formidable. He takes a good shot, but he also has some skills. He was able to outbox Tellers and knock him down in the 12th round, I believe. And nobody expected it to happen. So for Xander Zayas to fight somebody like that immediately after he won the vacant championships, WBC, against Jose, I think it was Jose, and I believe that he showed that he's not a one-trick pony. He can box, he can fight a skillful fighter and still show that he's versatile. Xander Zayas, that is. He showed that with Barral. I thought that was going to be a competitive, close fight, and it wasn't. I think Xander Zayas won almost every round and dominated him and showed people a glimpse of what he's made of. And he basically said that he's going to shock the world with Jerome Ennis. He's going to show people that everything that they've been saying about Xander Zayas is true, that he is more than that what they say. He's actually more. And they're going to give him the credit sooner or later. And I believe that Xander Zayas is no easy fight for anybody. I'm not saying that Jerome Ennis is going to lose. I'm not saying that Jerome Ennis is going to win. I'm not saying that. You know, I could be wrong, because I predicted Keith Thurman. I said Keith Murray. I'm doing a collaboration with Keith Murray, by the way. Stop being greedy. It's coming out soon. So anyway, yeah, I have that in my mind. That's why I said Keith Murray. But yeah, shout out to Keith Murray. One love, man. We got that song coming out. But no, I'm talking about Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman. See, I keep it real, man. I'm too real. So Keith Thurman, I predicted that Keith Thurman was gonna win and beat Sebastian Fundora. I was wrong, because I thought Sebastian Fundora was gonna be susceptible to the in and out boxing that, you know, that Keith Thurman has. Like Keith Thurman, like, he's very versatile, but I think, you know, the way he fought Sebastian Fundora, he took too many shots. You know, he tried to go toe to toe with him. Like, he should have boxed better, block, but, you know, there was no way that he could beat Fundora, because Fundora was fighting good from the outside and the inside. So I'm like, man, what do you do with a guy that tall, with a jab that long, and he's fighting you good from a distance with that reach, and fighting you good within the close range. So I'm like, how do you beat somebody like that? I think Xander Zayas could beat him. I think Xander Zayas will beat Fundora. Yeah, I think he'll beat Fundora. Xander Zayas, my opinion. That's what I think. So let me read the comments. Tony, I remember being in your chat telling you Keith Thurman talks too much. He hasn't fought in a while, and he is the most delusional fighter in Boston history. If he thought he was going to win, but he's not from Boston. He's from actually Tampa, Florida, I believe. But good assessment. He talks a lot, but I like his confidence. Like that he believes in himself. He believes the fight was stopped too soon. I mean, yeah, could they let him continue a little bit more? I think they should have. My son don't agree with me. He said he was getting beat up really bad from pulling the post, and he was like saying that he would have got his eye would have got worse. Yeah, he's right about that. But then he's a champion. He's never been knocked out. Keith Thurman has never been knocked out. They should have given him the benefit of the doubt. At least 2 more rounds. I mean, for some reason, Keith Thurman was saying that if they would have gave him a few more rounds, he was going to set him up because he was open to a lot of shots. I'm like, yeah, it's maybe true, but the evidence was in Keith Thurman's face. He was the one open to a lot of shots. That's the evidence and the proof that I saw. But maybe he saw something we didn't see. Because he was open. Yes, Fundora is open, but Keith Thurman wasn't capitalizing enough for the referee to consider him to fight 2 more rounds or whatever, etc. But I respect Keith Thurman. I'm a fan of Keith Thurman. My heart was broken a little bit, but it's all good. Like, it's boxing. It's part of boxing. Sometimes I get too embedded in it because I'm so passionate about boxing. That's love and hate with me with boxing. But anyway, let me read the other comments. Hey, Time, let me shout you out, Time. My bad. Time 18188. Let me read your comment again. Tony, I remember being in your chat telling you Keith Thurman talks too much. He hasn't fought in a while. Yeah, he hasn't fought in a while. And he is the most delusional fighter in Boston history. No, you meant boxing. It was a typo, right? In boxing history, if he thought he was going to win. No, yeah, because you said Boston, but it was a typo. I know you meant boxing. So you say he's the most delusional fighter in boxing history. He thought he was going to win. Hey, a boxer's supposed to believe in himself. And, you can't knock him for believing himself. But I respect your opinion. And I really appreciate you for tuning in and giving me your opinions. I appreciate that. Time 18188. Appreciate you. You're my family. All right, let me read Como Lomo's comment. I think Zayas should have taken an easier fighter, but he seems confident so can't knock him. I'm definitely not going to bet money on it, but I hope Zayas can pull it. Hey, man. I believe that it's a combination of Xander Zayas wanting to fight the best. He has the heart. He has the cojones. He has the intelligence, the boxing ability. He has the belief in himself, which is great. And I believe it's a combination of Bob Arum not having a platform for his fighters, and DAZN kind of pressured him to making the biggest fight possible with Joran Ennis, and that's exactly what transpired. But I think a lot has to do with that, and a lot has to do with economics. Well, that's what they want. They want the biggest possible fight so they can get the most viewership, and that is the biggest possible fight that Xander Zayas can have right now against Joran Ennis, who Joran Ennis has not fought a champion in 154 yet. He's been champion at 147, but he is in Xander Zayas' weight class, and he is in Fundora's weight class. But I think Joran Ennis, the one that actually sells the most tickets is Xander Zayas, and he's the champion, 2-time champion now. He's a WBC and WBA, I believe. So, who gets the parity there? Who has the upper hand, the leverage in the financial negotiation? I think Xander Zayas, because he already sold 1 million tickets in Puerto Rico. But Joran Ennis sells in Philadelphia. But he's not fighting in Philadelphia. He's fighting in Brooklyn, New York. So in Brooklyn, New York, the Puerto Rican's going to show out. Nothing against Joran Ennis, because Joran Ennis is a great fighter, and I'm not making no prediction, but I believe that it's Xander Zayas' time and it's Joran Ennis' time. But Joran Ennis is older than Xander Zayas. Xander Zayas is he's developing into his prime now. So, he had back-to-back fights where he's had an impressive run. Like, I think that his knockout ratio will increase when he goes up in weight. I think he's struggling at 154, so he's making the biggest possible fight with Joran Ennis. And it's a combination of different things. The promotion, they want to make the biggest fight possible. DAZN is putting pressure on Bob Arum, because Bob Arum doesn't have a platform to put his fighters, but now he does. He chose DAZN, and that was the fight they chose to make. But I believe that Xander Zayas is the one that's really forcing the issue and making sure that his promoter puts him in with the biggest fighters possible. He doesn't want to fight Joe Schmo. He don't want to fight the fulanito. Like, he don't want to fight guys that people don't know about. He wants to fight people that he's gonna make history with. And I respect Xander Zayas for that, because how many fighters are really calling out and making big fights like that? Not a lot of people, but you know, a lot of times nowadays they want to make the biggest possible fight with the biggest names. It's not like back in the days when the number one contender rose up and somebody from the ghetto, from the bottom, actually had the opportunity to win the championship. Now it's all about what promoter you have, how famous you are. So there's a lot of different factors now. It's kind of like, it's good and bad, but it's bad for the people that are coming up in the rankings from the top 10, number one contender. Like, it's harder for somebody from the hood or the projects to actually get that crack at that world title if you don't have a big promoter or you don't have a big name. So it's like, it's pros and cons with it. You know what I mean? Word up. So, okay, so Como Lomo, Zayas does have the size advantage and seems a lot more focused, and he's hungry and younger. Gonna be a great fight. Word up. Como Lomo, yep. Facts. I love your comment. I appreciate the content that you guys are giving me. You guys are part of the contribution, and you guys are part of the experience of Tony Olson knows boxing. Subscribe to that channel. Do not be afraid to click the like button. Do not be afraid to subscribe. Do not be afraid to comment. Only cowards don't want to subscribe. Cowards. If you don't subscribe to my channel, you're a freaking coward. Anyway, if you don't subscribe to Tony Olson knows boxing, you don't know what time it is. You don't want to hear the truth. You want to hear people lie to you. Like, what's that guy's name? Big Season? No. I got nothing but love for all those people, but they be trying to bite my style. I don't like that. But anyway, I give him credit, though. I give him credit. He's Boricua like me, so I give him all credit. And everybody that's doing boxing content, it's not easy. You got to be charismatic like me and other people, but I'm one of the chosen few. I believe I don't. You have to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, who's gonna believe in you, right? So anyway, I try to tell that I'm humble, but I'm a little, I'm a little conceited sometimes. My mother used to tell me that, but I'm not arrogant though. I'm humble. I'm just confident. I believe in myself. Because if somebody don't believe in you, you gotta say to yourself, man, you don't believe in me, I'm gonna believe in myself all the way, 100%. I gotta inspire the world out there. Anybody's in the world out there, if somebody says they don't believe in you, tell them, I don't need you to believe in me. I believe in myself. That's right. You always gotta believe in yourself. Brooklyn style. You know how we do it. Boricua, Marlboro Projects. Anyway, shout out to all my Boricuas, my Mexicans, my African Americans, my Anglo-Saxons, everybody, Filipinos. I love you, all my Latinos, everybody. You are part of this experience. But we keep it real over here. We don't lie. Okay, Como Lomo. Like, he has an entire team dealing with nutrition and fitness training. He looked amazing against Abbas, yeah. So I think he is confident, but he puts that work in. Gonna be good. Yeah, he's very healthy, health conscious. He takes his training serious, and you could tell that he has a strict diet. Xander Zayas, his body is maturing into like his man weight. So he's gonna go up to 160. This is probably his last fight at 154. There's a lot of rumors out there saying that he can't make the weight. Like, he's not strongest at that weight. He's probably killing himself a little bit just to make that weight because his height, right? Because of his height. He's a tall guy. So I think that he's a fighter that's intelligent, uses his height, uses his footwork. He's a pure boxer. This is the first time that Jaron Ennis ever fights a pure boxer, which is going to be interesting because Jaron Ennis is a boxer, but he does admire his work too much and sometimes gets hit when he shouldn't. And I'm like, man, why does he do that? He doesn't need to be lackadaisical like that when he has all the skills. But those are habits. When a boxer has habits, I believe that Xander Zayas' team and Bob Arum, they're really good at matchmaking. They saw some weakness in Jaron Ennis for them to actually be having their back against the wall to make this fight, so to speak. Because I believe there's a lot of variables. I believe that he probably had his back against the wall, but at the same time he probably felt like, well, there's a lot of holes in Jaron Ennis' game that we could probably exploit, that Xander Zayas can actually take advantage of. It's possible. Like, I believe a lot of people believe that Jaron Ennis is going to beat Xander Zayas, but a lot of people in boxing have been wrong in the past, and it's possible for them to get their assessment wrong, and Xander Zayas could pull up an upset, and if he does win, it would be an upset, because more people are picking Jaron Ennis to win than Xander Zayas to win, but a lot of people are picking Xander Zayas to win for one reason, one factor. He is a pure boxer. He's not no Mexican. I got nothing against the Mexicans. But you know, most Mexicans, not all, They fight one-dimensional. They fight flat-footed. They go forward. They throw 5 combinations. Hit me 3 times. I'm gonna hit you 6 times. That's the way the Mexicans think. But Puerto Ricans can fight so many different ways. But we're very athletic. We can use our footwork. We can hit. We have power. We have speed. We have the jab. We have defense. We have angles. We have lateral move. We're so versatile because of our DNA. I know we got a lot of African blood, Indian, Spanish. We have a different DNA. That's what makes us have that flexibility and athleticism due to our racial makeup. So Mexicans are more stand forward, flat-footed. Not all. The Mexican fighters from Mexico, like Canelo, Julio Chavez, Pitbull Cruz, they usually have a straightforward, no lateral movement fight. Just move forward, very predictable, no special effects. And fighters like Virgil Ortiz, I don't think he would have a chance against Joran Ennis because he doesn't have the boxing pedigree. He's a slugger. He's a power hitter. But that's all he has is strength, power, and move forward. That's it. You have to have more than that. And Xander Zayas will beat Virgil Ortiz if they ever fought. He will school Virgil Ortiz because he's poison. A fighter that boxes and moves like the way Xander Zayas does is poison for a Mexican. I don't care what anybody says. A Mexican will not be able to deal with a fighter like Xander Zayas with speed, quickness, defense, and he has some pop in his punches. He's not very, very powerful, but he can't hurt you with his speed. He has very technical movement, like lateral movement. So that's poison for a Mexican fighter. So a lot of people they underrate Xander Zayas, but I'm the perfect example of being underrated. I'm proving people wrong right now. God is making me shine and take me to the next level. But you know what? It's because whenever you underrate, I graduate. Whenever you underrate, the person has to graduate and surpass the person's expectations. So that's what's going on with Xander Zayas. And I give him nothing but props and credit and respect for his due diligence for him to take on the best possible fighters. And he's getting the Joran Ennis fight before Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz ranked number interim WBC champion, but he's not the real champion. Like Oscar De La Hoya ain't promoting him right, and then Oscar De La Hoya, he has a lawsuit, a civil case with Oscar De La Hoya in court, and they have Virgil Ortiz on the shelf right now. He can't fight nobody. So what kind of promoter is Oscar De La Hoya? De La Hoya, man, stop being greedy. Give to the needy. Like my song with Keith Murray. We got a song called Stop Being Greedy, and it's gonna be big, major. Check out my new single, Don't You Know, on all major platforms. It's doing great, 1,000 streams in 4 days. And the other single, I Won't Stop, it reached 1,000 streams in 3 days. Check that out. It's a freestyle song, and the other one is a dancehall reggae song. Yeah. Shout out to Tim Spinning Shomer from Chicago, who played my single on his show. Yes, check out my music on all major platforms. I don't mean to veer off course, but I promote my music every once in a while, throw it in there. You check it out. You guys are bold. Check out my music. You guys are bold. Subscribe to the channel. Do not be afraid of Tony Also Knows Boxing. Subscribe to the channel. Zayas, let me read your comment, brother. Gomolomo says Zayas rehydrates over 20 pounds after weigh-in. He's taller, bigger, and more conditioned. Boots has more experience and is slicker. Yeah, I agree. Zayas, the game is tight, but will it be enough to keep him off? That remains to be seen. We don't know that because there's a lot of Joran Ennis. He's a very athletic fighter. He has power, and he has a natural ability to do a lot of things that he can get away with, like putting his hands down, and he's pretty flexible. Like Roy Jones alluded to that. Roy Jones said that their talent and skill is different because you could be talented, but if you don't have the natural skill to do certain things, like the way Joran Ennis puts his hands down and he's able to throw an uppercut and get away with not getting hit, those are things that you can't teach. That's just natural. So Roy Jones basically said that Joran Ennis is similar to him. That was pretty big for Roy Jones to say that, and he basically was insinuating that he thinks Joran Ennis is going to win. I mean, he had a great assessment. I can't knock Roy Jones. I freaking love Roy Jones. I want to meet Roy Jones. But Roy Jones was one of my favorite fighters, man. When he was coming up, oh my gosh, he would play a basketball game and then he'll get in the ring and fight somebody. That's impressive. He's amazing. He's like me, amazing. Anyway, so I respect anybody who pushes the bar, the envelope, and surpasses. And Roy Jones was one of those guys. I can't knock Roy Jones for his assessment. He knows what he's talking about, but he could be wrong. Anybody could be wrong, and I could be wrong. But I believe that it's a 50-50 fight, and I believe that Xander Zayas is a problem for anybody. It's not an easy fight for anybody. I don't care what anybody says. He has the youth, the height, the boxing skills, the ability, the hunger, the desire, the tenacity, the intensity of training, the way he does it, Xander Zayas, it's amazing. So we'll see what factors are more prevailing in the fight between Ennis and Xander Zayas. But very, very great points, and that's a great point, Comolomo. His weight, and you know that he's struggling to make that weight. I think that after this fight he's gonna move up to 160, so he don't have to struggle. He'll be a lot stronger and maybe more powerful too. Comolomo, Boots fights a bit dirty, as bien mañoso, and he will set up, so he gotta be so let me read that again. Boots fight a bit dirty and bien mañoso, and he will set you up, so you gotta be on your game all 12 rounds. Yeah, Xander Zayas gotta be on his game. He's a veteran. You could kind of say that Ennis is a young veteran. He's not as young as Xander Zayas. You know, he's already, I think, 29. I think, or I don't know how old is he, but he's not no spring chicken. But he's not old either. But he's kind of like a little young veteran. And Roy Jones is a legend. Dude fought them all. When Jones was on his prime, he fought like Matrix. Facts, man, facts. Heavyweight went back to 168. That's what killed him. That's what hurt his career with Tarver. He said it. He said it in interviews. Because when you go up in heavyweight and you go all the way down to 168, that takes a lot out of you, man. Nobody's Superman. You could accomplish a lot of those things, Henry Armstrong, etc. But you know, your body, sometimes you gotta give your body time to recuperate. There's certain things your body can't do, but there's certain things your body could do. So I take everything that Roy Jones did. Like I look at it like, you know, he was bold and he dared. Just like Philly's Trinidad, he was bold. He dared to fight to Bernard Hopkins and go up far without having a loss. You know, like all those things. You know, you got to take into consideration the fighter is brave and courageous. You know, Mayweather didn't do that. Mayweather didn't take chances. He wanted to control the conditions, you know, a lot of times, and fight the fighters when it was better for him, easier for him to win. But I don't want to get into the Mayweather thing, because then you get some Mayweather haters in here and they'll say, "Oh no, you're a hater." No, I'm not a hater. I'm a relator. I like to relate the truth, and if you don't like it, then we can talk about it, you know, professionally, civilized, and with an intellectual perspective, you know, and analyze everything in a broad fashion. You know what I mean? So anyway, yeah, man, Como Loma, thanks for tuning into the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. Peace. That's all I got for now. And I think the Xander Zayas versus Ennis fight is an amazing fight. June 27 in Brooklyn. What do you guys think? Send me some comments. Tell me what you think. Subscribe to the channel. And I got more for you. Stay tuned. Later on, I have more for you. I'll be staying relevant and doing my due diligence in the boxing. And I'll be having some interviews, too, as well. Como Lomo, great fights. Yes, my brother. And God bless you, man. Thanks for tuning into my channel. Tony also knows boxing. Subscribe to the channel. Do not be a sucker. Do not be afraid. Subscribe and click like and comment. Do not be afraid of the truth. Tony also is going to liberate you.